Mission Hope, inspirational stories of faith and triumph. Life's many upheavals, sharp curves, twists and turns, the challenging circumstances coming right at you are nonstop. The inner wars within are outside your control and feel overwhelming. You feel alone, and the seemingly endless battles rage on. You feel like you have lost all hope and faith, questioning, why me? Why now? How can I handle another blow? The answers you're seeking are in this collection of 20 uplifting stories in this book. Within its golden pages, from the deep confines of their hearts and souls, these extraordinary authors have opened up and are here to assist you in navigating the deep, daunting, and dark waters that you are facing. Each story is unique in its experience, but similar in the fact that through everything presented to them in life, these authors have found the way back to success, peace, and joy through hope and faith. These authors have turned tragedy into tranquility once again. Now, they are here to empower you, to shift from what once was fear and failure into the future of your dreams. They offer as a gift to you the freedom to choose your destiny. Now, it's time to turn the key and walk through the door. Hear from the authors themselves as they share their journey and story with you, here on Living the Next Chapter.
Okay, everyone, welcome back to the Living the Next Chapter podcast. We're talking about book number 2 from our favorite person in the world, Shar Murphy. And Maria is back again from book 1, now in book 2. And I'm so happy to reconnect with another great author, an amazing photographer, which you have to go and check out her Instagram page. We'll have links for you. But if you want to see some gorgeous shots, gorgeous pictures, Maria knows how to do that well. And she's back for book 2. We're living the next chapter as we write this next book. And Maria's back. Welcome back to Living the Next Chapter. Glad to have you here.
Thank you so much, David. It's so much, and it's a great pleasure to be here. And I'm really happy to be on this second book and the mission that Shar has led us to.
Excellent. Now, you were on for book number 1, but for those that may be new to the podcast, they haven't heard that episode yet, we want them to go back and listen because that was an amazing episode having you on the show. Can you let everybody know where you are in this big world of ours?
Yeah, sure. So the first book was about Mission Hope, and I wrote a chapter about how I basically went through the journey of losing my mother and then recovering from it in time. And I have to say that the book project was pretty heavy, but there was that silver lining of hope. And ever since I've heard people reading that story, they've come back to me and said they really loved it because although the topic was tough, they came out feeling that there is hope, that there really was hope during that journey. So even in grief, we can build that and believe that someday we'll feel better again and we can be healed. And I really enjoyed that project, and Shar is great. She's just terrific and very passionate to work with. Also, she was very encouraging about me and writing that chapter, and understood as well that it's a process for the authors.
Right. And she's such a great supportive person. Every author I've spoken to from book 1 and now book 2 all have great things to say about her as a person, as a support, motivating them, giving them direction, helping them write their book, and pulling a book out of people that maybe would never have thought to write a book or write a chapter. She just pulls it right out of them. It's amazing how she can do that.
Yeah, I can see her responding to, like a message on LinkedIn, for example, and someone saying, I've maybe done a post about this or whatnot, and I can't use it. And she's like, of course you can use it. You just build it into a story and there you go. And then people do that. And I think it's fantastic.
Amazing. And let's go back in time to how did you and Shar originally connect?
We connected on LinkedIn. I mean, we're both actually writers for the Biz Catalyst 360. So Dennis Bitocco is a very good friend of ours. And he's also an awesome person who encourages a lot of writers around the world. And then, so, we were in the same network. And then Charles said that I have this book coming out and I want people to write chapters. And it was kind of the last minute. And I just, I wasn't even sure if she would take on any more stories. And I said, yeah, I could maybe write something. And she immediately said, yes, I do want you to write a story. And so I did that. Yeah. So that's how we met. And we worked a lot together since. And I enjoy promoting her projects.
Yeah, she's such a great person. So you're now back for book number 2, and you're in it now with some other new authors for book 2. It's pretty exciting to see that another book is coming. Were you excited to find out that you'd be part of book number 2 as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think in this case, no would not have been a good answer. Char can be very persistent.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about it, and I thought that she did tell me beforehand, some months before actually, that she wanted to do one about faith. So Mission Hope Volume 2, but more focused on faith and triumph. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And so I went back and I actually asked my sisters what would they want to read. And that's how my story came about. And I suggested to Char, what if I write about self-belief? And she was really into the idea. So she thought, yes, that would be a good topic.
Nice. So let's go behind the story a little bit. Talk about self-belief and what does this mean for you personally as the author for this chapter? Because I think many of us have different definitions of what self-belief is. Can you clarify from your perspective what you're writing about?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is self-belief is something that I always thought it's like given, because somehow I gained it because I traveled when I was very young and I spent an exchange year in the US. So I was more outgoing and I was used to, holding presentations and, kind of knowing my way around. And so I didn't even think about it until later in life when people asked me, so how did you, kind of lead your career to where it is now? And how did you make those, what they called leaps? And they didn't feel like leaps to me because I was always, kind of persistently pursuing certain goals where I wanted to be. And self-belief really to me is just taking you as you are, the version that you are, and using those abilities that every one of us has without having to be anybody else. I wanted to, like, there are very often coaches who say you have to focus on your weakest points and make them stronger. Instead, I took what I was best at and I worked on those. And then that made me comfortable around, different business aspects and, the ways to go about presenting myself, my case, and so forth. So I ended up working in travel industry at first, and then in IT, where I've now been, I don't even know, 16, 17 years, I think. It's been a long journey with a lot of different roles.
Nice. So for the person that's going to come and read your chapter for the first time in book 2, if you could have a moment to talk to that person before they read your chapter, what kind of things would you like to tell the reader before they even read the first word of your chapter? What would you say to them?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, what I'm writing for everybody, but there is a special corner that I like to target my writing to, and that's especially to women. Because I feel that, as in the current world, there is a consensus, that women should be doing certain jobs or have certain salaries. And, women start to believe that. So they actually believe that I can't ask for more, I can't want more. And I didn't believe in that ever, So I think out of my chapter, I hope I can relay some of that confidence that, yes, you are fine just as you are. And yes, you can do more, you can ask more, and you can be noticed. You don't have to hide your qualities or abilities and to be successful. Absolutely.
Nice. Because I think that's kind of a nice thing to know as a reader, is that not only can we read your words, we can hear your words on the podcast, and we hear you in our minds as we read your chapter. It gives us maybe a different insight that
Yep.
we might not pick up on our own, but it kind of directs us a little bit as we read. It's exciting. Tell us a little bit about the community that's forming around Char's books with all these great authors. I know that your community has a group chat, and there's interaction happening between authors that maybe you might not have met these authors in public or in person ever, but you get to communicate with them through community. What's it like as an author within Char's community? How is that going, and what do you like about that?
What I especially like is that Char wants to have a community around her. And I think that's something also what she evolved with from the first book, that, she was, I would say that it was a lot of pressure for her. It's like an opening statement, the first book. And on the second book, she's been more relaxed, and she's been able to take that time and give herself the time to spend more time with the authors and to encourage everybody. And she created this platform, first of all, a group on Facebook, but then as well a messenger team, so that we don't just talk about the book or what's happening next, but when people need help or they have questions or they're not feeling good, they can ask people for help, for prayers, for blessings, for whatever. So we're there to support each other. And that's very, very special, because it gives people that confidence and that comfort that they need during the process.
I've talked to other book collaborators like Char, and they have authors that write chapters, but I don't get the sense that they have the community that Char's been building. And it feels like everyone just submits a chapter and they never talk to each other. The book arrives and they're done. But it seems like this group of authors really does life together. And I think that's a really unique thing that Char is building, and that all of you as authors are contributing to, because it seems like you're not just coming to take from the group, you're coming to give to the group and be a support as well. So I just love the nature of that community. It's great.
It's very special. And it's exactly like you say, it leaves you a good feeling, that you've given something private about yourself and it's being valued,
It's nice.
Yeah, it's different.
So any feedback from your chapter beyond what we've already mentioned today that kind of encouraged you as an author in book one, that maybe somebody reached out to you or a comment's been made to you about your chapter or the book that inspired you to keep going with the next book?
I had a lot of very positive comments. I had people asking about my book, and I did send it internationally to some of my colleagues as well. Some of the people I worked with who probably didn't know anything about that side,
Nice.
sort of what I went through in my private life. Yeah. So it was a very different angle of me as well. So it encouraged me to be more me. When I thought about writing initially, I thought about writing science fiction or fantasy. And then I thought, well, that's actually what people may not want to read. They want to learn who I am, and how did I become what I am, and what did I learn, on the way. And that's been a different learning experience for me, and very important one. So that's what I took to the second book. I sort of build a story around what really happened, but I want to keep people engaged. So, it doesn't have to be literal. You can sort of imagine a place or a time and jump between different periods, right? Back and forth, different time periods. And that's what I do. So I go back into my past and I bring the past to the present. Nice. So what motivates me? What motivated me from the past? And that's, I think I'm learning a lot as an author to, what really engages people more. That's important.
You think there's ever going to be an opportunity in the future that you write your own complete book on your own as an author?
It's so funny you're asking that, Dave, because so many people are asking that. They come to me constantly and they're like, when are we going to see your book? Just you. So I'm giving it a serious thought,
Okay.
and it's very likely that the next book will be, written by me.
Will you come back on my show and talk about that book in the future?
Oh yeah, I definitely will if you allow me.
Oh, the door is always open for you, Maria. I would love to have you on anytime. Any idea about? Can you give us a spoiler? Anything that you're thinking about writing about that's really kind of sitting with you right now? That this is kind of where I would like to go in this initial stage of thinking about a new book.
Yeah, it's not easy to put it into a concept as such, because I know people are in different stages of, how they evolve and how they live in this world and how they see their energy. But I would like to talk about my journey as a healer, an energy healer, because that's a big part of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And, what it actually means to have that great amount of empathy and understanding and feelings, and how to deal with that and how to protect yourself from the negativity and everything that can push you down in this world. And I want to make sure that people get tools and understanding of how they can sustain optimism in a world today, from day to day. And so it's a large concept. I think it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to put it into a story, but I'm sure I'll get there.
I love it. And the way the world is right now, we need something like that. We need that kind of reflection and admonishment to think differently about each other and about ourselves, because in the news, it's just so rough right now. That's a book that's very timely, I think. So, yeah, congratulations in advance, because I know when this book is written and when it comes out, it's going to be amazing. So I'm cheering you on from Canada. So I can't wait to hear about this and this new project when it does happen. But no pressure, but
yeah, exactly.
I'm excited. I want to buy a copy of this book. It's not even written yet, and I want to buy a copy. So,
super. Thank you.
Do you have any insight for our audience? Some of our audience are authors that they want to be an author. They haven't written any books yet. Any benefits from your perspective about writing with other authors like we're doing with Shar? Is that helpful for a new author to write one chapter instead of writing an entire book? Is it a good way to start your author journey by being a part of a project like this?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, without being biased or anything, I would definitely recommend working with Char, because she is so warm personality. She wants to help people, and it comes across in everything she does. So, I mean, she's going to make sequels, and there's going to be volume 3 and 4 and so forth. So if anybody does want to write a story, then yes, I would definitely encourage them to be part of it. And it's absolutely worthwhile doing a story, because it gives you the structure, but it's like a mini world. Instead of having to think about a whole entire book and all the chapters and, having somebody proofread it and edit it and all that, it's much easier that you start with something that's compressed, Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a long topic then. It can be a single event in your life. So you can kind of focus on one thing.
One of the questions I've been asking all of the authors from Shar's book is, if I was to leave this chair right now and Shar entered the room and sat down here on camera with you, it's just you and Shar, and she's sitting here with you, what would you like to say directly to Shar to encourage her or thank her or whatever? Imagine I'm not here now and it's Shar. What would you like to say to her? Because I know she's going to listen to this episode, and I want to encourage her as being a leader in all of these books and building community and everything she's done. If I'm not here and she's here sitting here with you, what would you like to say to Shar now? I'm not here. What would you say?
My dear friend Shar, You've been such a great, great sister to me throughout the past year. I can never say thank you enough because I know you're doing this from the bottom of your heart. This is a passionate trip and journey for you, and you want to help people all around the world. And that's what comes through to me very, very clearly. If I could, I would be with you all the way to the end. For private reasons, I'm not able to do it now, but my heart and love will always be with you. So thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for giving it to all the authors who are part of your project.
Yeah.
I love you, Char.
There we go. And I know she's going to cry when she hears this, but we want Char to know that you can have an impact on so many people by just doing this, for example, and creating an opportunity for authors to get together and share a chapter in a book. It's much bigger than a book that sits on your table in your home. This is about community and about spreading a message that the world needs right now. And to that point, what I love about what you do on your Instagram page is you share some of the most beautiful photos from your part of the world. And I love watching your content. I feel like I'm there with you on the path, seeing those things firsthand with you. And you share such great content on Instagram. Can you share your Instagram account with us and tell us a little bit about the beautiful photos that you share from your country?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the digital teacup. So there are other teacups in there. So
yeah.
I had to reserve the word "the" in front of it. So the digital teacup, and the idea is that every day you get a cup of tea filled with inspiration. So it comes from the digital world, but the origin is from the nature. And some nature around me, it's just so beautiful that Instagram has given me sort of a platform where I can brainstorm my subconscious, if you will. So I do want to take people with me when I go out for a walk. And I want to portray something that happens in my soul when I go out there and when I see a beautiful, pristine lake, for example, or a beautiful sunset. And I want everyone to interpret that the way that feels most comfortable to them. And that's kind of the idea, just to give them a moment of peace, like a safe haven
Yeah.
in the digital world.
Your photos are outstanding, and I can tell that there's a lot of knowledge and there's a lot of experience behind the camera when you take those shots. So again, I love transporting myself to your country and being there with you in those photos. So please keep doing that. I'm a huge fan. And as well, how can people connect with you beyond Instagram? We'll put that link in the show notes, but connecting with you as a person, and they have feedback for you from your book 1 now, book 2, and they want to connect with you as an author, opportunities to speak or something, just to do something with you in your world. How do people connect with you?
They can DM me on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn with my own name, Maria Lehtman. So you can find me from LinkedIn. I also have a web page. So you can either look for Lehtman, LEHTMAN.com or thedigitalteacup.com.
Nice.
And you can send a message through the pages, and my email's there as well. So any feedback is welcome, and questions, whatnot. Always happy to help.
Excellent. If you want to meet the nicest person in the world, she's right here. And I'm so happy that you're back again to chat about book 2. Again, you got to keep me in mind for your own book when that happens down the road. I'm holding a spot for you. You can come back anytime. And I just really appreciate you and your heart and your desire to encourage us as readers, and for giving some wisdom to new authors as well. Thank you for for being so open to share with us today on the podcast. I really love having you here. And again, I'm going to keep the door open. You can come back anytime you want. Okay.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. I really appreciated this session as well. Thank you.
Excellent. Everyone go check out all the show notes. All the information will be there for you so that you can connect with Maria. And make sure you go buy the next in the series from Shar Murphy. And when you buy that, and you buy the first book as well, buy them both, leave a great review so everyone else knows how amazing these books are and how much they help. Please do that when you buy that book. Thank you so much, Maria. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, just jumping on here at the end. Thank you so much for checking out this episode, Living the Next Chapter, talking about Mission Hope Volume 2. You definitely want to pick up a copy of this book. Head over to ourmissionhope.com, missionhope.com. All the information in the show notes. Get a copy of this book. Get one for yourself. Get one for your best friend. And let's encourage these authors as they write and share their stories with us. If you want to connect with me, my name is Dave. livingthenextchapter.com. livingthenextchapter.com. I would love to have you reach out through the website. Let me know what you think of this episode, what you think of the podcast. Let's encourage our fellow authors and let's do something great. Thank you for being here on the podcast. Again, it's the second book from our great friend Shar Murphy, Mission Hope, Inspirational Stories of Faith and Triumph at ourmissionhope.com. Thanks for being here. Catch you on the next one.